Hello, welcome to Jana's Kitchen on this snowy Alabama morning, and we are making minestrone soup for lunch today. What else should you make when you've got vegetables in your freezer and in your refrigerator? It's soup. And so we're going to make a super fast minestrone soup this morning. And so what we're starting out with is I've got 1 pound of bacon, and this is going to sizzle away here. Turn my heat up a little bit. And we're going to cook this. You don't want to cook this super fast because I keep saying super. I'm making myself laugh. And we're going to cook this and called rendering it down. And we don't want to cook it over high heat because we want the bacon to just get kind of melty. And so we're going to come back and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a few minutes. And we're going to cook, I'm going to say on medium heat, about, it depends upon your stove BTUs. If you're electric, gas, high BTU, regular, propane, it all makes a difference. But we're going to come back, I'm going to guess about 6 to 7 minutes it's going to take on medium heat. And I'll let you know, I'll time it out. While the bacon is rendering down, I thought I'd show you, I've got a block of Parmesan cheese, and when you have a block of Parmesan cheese, there's something called a rind, R-I-N-D. See that dark color? There's a side here and a side here. I'm going to borrow some rind. See the dark part? It's very hard cheese, so to keep your, never have any digits or anything of importance under that area. And now I'm just going to bag this back up. And by the way, if you don't use your Parmesan cheese very often, you can rub some olive oil on all of the sides to prevent that white growth from coming on it. It doesn't hurt anything. You can always cut it off. But so there is that orange rind, and a little bit further into the soup while it's simmering, I'm going to add that rind, and it just gives it a little bit more of an Italian flavor. And so when you see me put that in, you'll know where that came from. Okay, we are back, and it's been about 6 minutes with my fire on medium. And you can see now, this is where preference comes in. If you like yours less rendered, then do it less. If you like it just a little bit more, you don't want it crispy like breakfast. You want it to be rendered so that you get the flavor. And also you can use pancetta for this, you can use anything, but I had this on a snowy day, so that's what we use. And so now I've got some red pepper flakes, and you do not have to do this. Our family likes just a little, that little in the back of your throat that you get with a little bit spicy. And so I'm going to add that. And I've got some celery and an onion. And so I'm going to put this in kind of in order. And I'm just going to let this cook for just a minute in those bacon drippings. And if you want to drain off the bacon grease, but why would you? But if you want to drain that off and replace it with olive oil, you can do that too. Now we're going to let this cook for just a minute or two. And get that onion flavor coming out of there. And then I'm going to add some garlic when we come back. So see you in a minute. All right, we are back. And see, we've just got that onion softened a little bit, that celery softened. We don't want it mushy, we just need it softened. Now I'm going to add some of the garlic. And I've got my little garlic shaver here. You can mince it very fine. We like garlic at our house. I did about 2 cloves, not heads. 2 cloves when you break the head apart, and then there's the cloves in there. I did about 2 of those. And now we wait for it to become fragrant. Doesn't take but about 30 seconds. And now we are going to add in, I don't always put potatoes in my minestrone soup, but I had a few waxy potatoes. I don't do anything grainy like Idaho baking potato because they just kind of turn to mush. And now I'm going to add in, I had some cabbage, so I'm going to add in some cabbage. You as much or little or skip it. Remember, for minestrone soup, use what you like. That's what's so awesome about all of this. If you don't like something, don't put it in. Then I have some zucchini. And that is about 3 cups of zucchini. And once again, if you like it, put it in. If you don't have to. I have some shredded carrots that were in my refrigerator that I can use for making a salad. However, one of the people I'm sharing the soup with, my daughter, she has an allergy to carrots, so I'm not going to put them in, but you can put those in, and that's a really fast way to have, or you can use the circles, you can use whatever you like, or not. And now I'm going to add into here, I've got diced tomatoes. These already have basil, garlic, and oregano in them. I always have these in my pantry, always. And I like tomatoes, so we're going to add that. We like kidney beans. And that's really good fiber, so in those go. I have some white kidney beans, cannellini beans. I already drained these off. Still some in there hiding. There we go. So we got those in there. Now we need some stock. I have a spicy hot V8, and it's got tomatoes and celery and parsley and carrot juice. Yes, there is, but we've used it before and it hasn't been a problem. Probably because it's processed enough. And do shake this up. If you don't like spicy, you can just get regular V8. And if you don't like V8, you can just use regular tomato juice. I'm going to put in about 2 cups to 3 cups to 4 cups. I'm going to use about a half a bottle. I'll save that for some of my chili. The rest of that. Then you can use beef stock or chicken stock. And I've got a big pot here today, so I might use both. Use some beef stock. Isn't this delicious? Wow. And if you have the bagged fresh green beans that are already cut up from the fresh produce, use those. If you don't like green beans, leave them out. If all you have is canned, you can use those. I happen to have some cut green beans in a bag in my freezer already. So I'm going to add those. And you can cook them ahead of time if you want to. That was a steam bag. I could have cooked them in the steam bag, but we're going to cook this for a little bit anyway. Get down under the bottom and get all of the onions and things all mixed into all of it. And we have a whole lot of vegetables in there. Baby, it's cold outside, so I am going to put both. Now I want to tell you, my husband will come home and have a bowl of this for lunch. My daughter will take it for lunch several days. There we go. And you notice we haven't really added any seasoning other than the V8. So we're going to have to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And at the very end, we're going to add some Ditallini pasta in there. So I'm going to get some salt. About a teaspoon of salt to all those vegetables. And remember, we put the red chili flakes in, so We've got that, and we're also going to be adding some Italian herbs towards the end because they'll weaken if you put them in too early. And so there we go with some black pepper. And remember, if you're watching your sodium, you don't have to put that in there. Everybody's different. And look at, by the time those vegetables and the tomato all start to meld together to make that broth with all the vegetables as they start to cook down, that flavors all of that liquid. And it's going to be so good, and it's so healthy. All of these things that we put in are healthy for you. There we go. Move that off to the side so I don't roast my spoon again, which I left it on the side of a big pot. So now I'm going to cover this part way, and we're going to let that simmer. I'm going to turn my heat down to medium low and let that simmer, and it'll simmer for about 30 minutes or so. This has not taken very long. It took 6 minutes for the bacon and took about 2 minutes for the onion and celery, and then I added the garlic, added all of our vegetables. So we're really into this only about 15 minutes, and there's a whole meal made. Now we just have a little bit of time. You can go fold some laundry, go watch your favorite show, whatever, for a little bit, and come back, and we're going to see where we're at on this, and then we're going to be adding some Ditallini pasta. See you in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. While we were gone, I didn't break this to show you, but I cooked 3/4 of a cup of Ditallini pasta in another pot until it was al dente. And so we want it to be to the tooth, not mushy, just cooked. And we've got that set aside here. Oh my goodness. There is our minestrone soup. And we're going to test, look at the green beans are done, the zucchini's done, and I forgot to tell you that I was adding in, for all of the simmer time, there is a rind of Parmesan cheese I had. And so I had my daughter take a little clip, and so she'll show you what I did and where I got that from. And it's not necessary, but if you've got one, you might as well use it. And so it's in here somewhere. I'm trying to find it. It's just on the edge of a fresh Parmesan cheese, there is a rind, and so I cut that rind off and put it in there, and it just kind of gives a nice creamy texture. And also I tasted the soup when it was just about finished here, and I thought it just needed a little bit more flavor with regards to salt, and just a little bit more flavor. And so I added a chicken bouillon cube, and you can need, 1 or 2 to your taste, whatever you like. And so that's the only thing I did differently. And so now I'm going to add in our cooked pasta. You can cook the pasta right into the soup, but it takes up some of the broth, and we really like the broth. And so, because not so much today, but after you refrigerate it and put it back in the refrigerator and then bring it out and warm it up, it's like, hey, where'd all the juice go? All of the broth. And so that's what happens. And so stir this in, and it is really, there it is. I saw it. There's that chunk of cheese. See, it kind of broke down. You'll see what it used to look like in there before. And look, it's nice and cheesy. And you know what? Somebody in my family would be very happy to have that show up in their bowl. There we go. I'm going to put that off to the side, and I know somebody's going to grab that and put it in their bowl. And so there is our minestrone soup. The potatoes are tender. Everything's ready to go. And so I'm going to serve it up here in just a minute, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And I forgot to tell you that also when I added the bouillon cube, I added some Italian herbs. Italian herbs come in lots of different ways. Just whatever you have. I mean, there's so many brands. I've got just, it's got oregano, rosemary, whatever. All of them are different. And onion, garlic, you know. So find one that you like. You probably already have one in your pantry. And then I just grind it right into the soup to taste. And add that in like the last 15 minutes of making your soup. And then that's going to not diminish the flavor of all those delicious herbs. So now I'm going to serve this up and get my husband a big bowl of minestrone soup. And we'll see you in just a second. Okay, we are back. Football finals are on. My husband is ready to eat. And I've got some fresh Parmesan into the Parmesan grater, but you can use the whatever Parmesan you have. They even have it pre-grated at the grocery store over by the deli or in the dairy case. And look, it is ready to go. I hope you enjoy this. This is good even in the summertime. I eat hot food in the summertime. Doesn't make a difference when it is, but it is a cold, wintry, blustery, rainy, snowy day today. And this is what my family's having. And I hope that this helps you to create your own minestrone soup.